Hello everyone, I'm the narrator. Today, I bring you a rescue animal story about the helpless souls who have endured pain and loneliness yet still long for love. A small act of kindness can change their world. If this story touches your heart, please like, share, comment and subscribe to Rescue Animal Tales to spread love and hope. Now, let's step into this story together. The city never sleeps. The streets are always alive, people walking fast, lost in their own world. The honking of impatient drivers filling the air. No one notices the small, trembling figure pressed against a wall, hidden in the shadows. A dog, his fur, once soft and full, now clung to his thin frame. Dirt and dust tangled within it. His eyes, deep pools of sorrow, darted nervously at every passing footstep. His body curled tightly, trying to make himself invisible, trying to shrink from the world that had abandoned him. This was not his fault. He did not choose this life. Once, he had a home. Once, he had a name. But the love he knew had vanished, replaced by hunger, fear, and loneliness. The world moved on without him. People passed by, some glancing in his direction, but none stopped. To them, he was just another stray, another lost soul in a city too busy to care. But behind those fearful eyes was a heart still beating, a soul still longing for kindness. What if someone stopped? What if someone saw him, not just as a stray, but as a life worth saving? The streets are not kind to those without a home. For a stray dog, every day is a battle against hunger, against the cold, against the invisible pain that gnaws at their body. No warm bed, no gentle touch, no guarantee that tomorrow will bring anything but more suffering. His body tells a story of survival, a story of wounds left untreated. Ribs pressing against fragile skin, and eyes that have lost their shine. Parasites crawl beneath his matted fur, his paws cracked from endless wandering on scorching pavement. The simplest illnesses, things a house dog would easily recover from, could be a death sentence for him. No medicine, no care, no second chances. And then, there is the fear, the deep, soul-crushing fear that lingers in his every move. He has learned that humans can be cruel. He has learned that hands do not always mean kindness. Some throw rocks, some chase him away, some look right through him as if he does not exist. He flinches at sudden movements. He cowers when someone reaches out, not because he wants to be alone, but because the world has taught him that love is dangerous. But deep inside, there is still a flicker of hope, a small, trembling wish that maybe, just maybe, someone will see him. Someone will care enough to show him that not all humans are the same. And when that day comes, when kindness finally finds him, he will still need time. Time to learn that food does not have to be stolen, that hands can be soft, that voices do not have to be harsh. Healing does not happen overnight. But with love, even the most broken souls can be whole again. Fear is not born, it is created. A stray dog is not naturally afraid of humans. He was not born with terror in his eyes. Nor did he always flinch at the sound of footsteps. Once, he trusted. Once, he believed that hands meant warmth, that voices carried love. But the world taught him differently. Maybe he once had a home, a family, a name. But one day, he became an inconvenience, a burden. The door that once welcomed him now remained closed. The voices that once called him with affection now shouted for him to leave. Confused, heartbroken, he waited at the doorstep, at the familiar street corner, hoping they would come back for him. But they never did. Days turned into weeks. Hunger clawed at his stomach. His body, once strong, grew weaker. And then came the pain, not just from hunger, but from the hands that should have saved him. Some people threw stones, some kicked him away, some laughed as he cowered in fear. And so, he learned that humans were not always kind. He learned that approaching people could mean pain. He learned that love could be taken away in an instant, leaving nothing but a hollow ache. The city itself became another enemy. Cars rushing past, their roaring engines making his heart race. Horns blaring, lights flashing, crowds pushing, every sound, every movement, a threat. Nowhere was safe. And so, he ran. He ran from hands that reached out, afraid they would strike instead of soothe. He ran from voices, unsure if they carried kindness or cruelty. He ran because fear had settled deep within him, wrapping around his soul like a chain that could never be broken. But what if someone had stopped before the fear consumed him? What if, instead of rejection, he had been met with patience? What if, instead of punishment, he had been shown kindness? Maybe then, he would have learned that not all humans are the same. Maybe then, he wouldn't be running still. The city was never meant for them. A stray dog does not belong in the flashing neon lights, the roaring traffic, the sea of faceless people. He does not understand the honking horns or the rush of bodies pushing past him. The city is a jungle made of concrete and steel, and he is just another forgotten soul trying to survive. The streets are unkind. Each step he takes is a risk. A car speeding past too closely. A motorbike swerving just in time. He does not know that his life is worth less than a second of hesitation to a driver. He only knows that if he missteps, if he is too slow, there will be pain, and there is no one to help him. Food is another battle. He no longer remembers the taste of fresh meat, the feeling of a full stomach. His days are spent scavenging, through trash, through scraps tossed aside, through the kindness of strangers who may or may not stop to feed him. Sometimes, he goes days without a proper meal. Hunger gnaws at him like a second skin, his ribs pressing against his fragile body. And then, there is the cold. When the sun sets, the temperature drops, and the wind howls through the empty alleys. He curls into himself, trying to find warmth where there is none. When it rains, there is no roof to shelter him. When the heat becomes unbearable, there is no escape from the suffocating air. Some dogs learn to hide, to make homes in forgotten corners, beneath staircases, behind dumpsters, anywhere that offers even a moment of relief. But even then, they are not safe. Other animals fight for the same small spaces. Humans chase them away. Some throw stones. Some pour boiling water to make sure they never return. He is not welcome. Not here. Not anywhere. And yet, he stays. Because where else can he go? One act of kindness can change a life. Imagine a stray dog, shivering on a cold sidewalk, his ribs pressing against his skin, his eyes dull with hopelessness. He has known hunger. He has known fear. But what if, instead of walking past him, someone stopped? What if, instead of turning away, someone chose to care? The truth is, saving them is not just the work of a few, it is the responsibility of all of us. Rescue efforts matter. Volunteers who dedicate their time to feeding, treating, and sheltering these animals give them a second chance at life. Every meal given, every wound treated, every safe place provided means another day of survival for a soul that was once forgotten. But survival is not enough. They need homes. They need families. Adoption is not just about taking in a pet. It is about giving love to a heart that has never known it. About teaching trust to a soul that has only known betrayal. Campaigns that encourage adoption, that share success stories, inspire more people to open their homes, turning once lost creatures into beloved family members. And beyond adoption, they need protection. Animal shelters and rescue organizations cannot survive without financial support. Community donations, whether through charity runs, fundraising events, or direct contributions, help provide food, medical care, and rescue operations. Every dollar given is a chance for another life to be saved. But most importantly, we need education. If we teach kindness, if we raise awareness about the responsibility of pet ownership, if we show that every life matters, we can create a future where no dog has to suffer on the streets. Because in the end, the question is not whether they deserve our help. The question is, will we give it? Sometimes, a second chance is all it takes to change a life. On a rainy night, in the middle of a busy city, a small figure lay motionless near the sidewalk. His fur was soaked, his body shivering, his eyes barely open. No one noticed. The cars rushed past, the people hurried home, and the city continued moving forward, unaware that a fragile life was slipping away. But then, someone stopped. A young woman, a volunteer from a local rescue group, knelt beside him. She didn't hesitate. She didn't turn away. Carefully, she reached into her bag, pulled out a blanket, and wrapped it around his trembling body. At first, he flinched. He had learned to fear hands, learned that kindness was a rare thing. But this touch, it was different. It was warm. It was gentle. She named him Lucky. Lucky was rushed to a veterinary clinic. His condition was worse than expected. His leg was broken, his body weak from malnutrition, and his spirit nearly gone. But he was not alone anymore. The volunteers did not give up on him. They raised money for his surgery, took turns staying by his side, whispering to him that he was safe now, that no one would ever hurt him again. Day by day, he healed. The first time he wagged his tail, the clinic staff cheered. The first time he walked again, the volunteers cried. And then, the biggest miracle of all, he found a family. A little girl saw his story online and begged her parents to adopt him. When they came to meet him, Lucky did something he hadn't done in a long time. He trusted. His tail wagged. His eyes lit up. He let them hold him. And just like that, he had a home. Lucky's story is not just about survival, it is about the power of kindness. It is about the difference one person can make. Because for every Lucky, there are thousands still waiting, still hoping, still needing someone to stop. Will that someone be you? Kindness is not just a feeling, it is something we must teach. Imagine a world where every child grows up knowing that animals feel pain. That a stray dog is not just a forgotten creature, but a soul deserving of love. Imagine a future where no pet is abandoned, where no dog is left to starve, because people understand their responsibility toward the lives they choose to care for. This world is possible, but only if we start educating today. Education changes everything. When we teach compassion, we create a generation that does not turn away from suffering. When we teach responsibility, we stop the cycle of abandonment. When we teach respect, we build a future where no animal has to live in fear. It starts in schools. Children should learn that animals are not objects, but living beings that feel joy, pain, and loneliness. School programs that introduce students to pet care, animal rescue stories, and real-life experiences of shelter animals help develop empathy at a young age. It grows in communities. Animal welfare clubs, adoption fairs, and rescue volunteer groups bring people together, fostering a sense of shared responsibility. When a child helps feed a stray, when a family adopts a rescue dog, when a neighborhood comes together to support a shelter, these moments change lives. And it spreads through stories. Social media is a powerful tool, sharing the stories of dogs who were saved, who found families, who learned to trust again. These stories inspire action. They remind people that they, too, can make a difference. Animal welfare organizations play a crucial role in this movement. Their efforts in education, in lobbying for stronger animal protection laws, in rescuing and rehabilitating animals, need the support of the public. When we work together, change becomes possible. Because in the end, it is not just about saving animals, it is about creating a world where they never need to be saved in the first place. Will you be part of that change? If you could save a life, would you? Somewhere right now, in the corner of a dark alley, under a bench in the park, or near a busy highway, a frightened stray dog is waiting for food, waiting for warmth, waiting for a sign that the world has not completely forgotten about him. But hope is a dangerous thing for those who have been abandoned too many times. Maybe he has already given up. Maybe he no longer lifts his head when footsteps approach. Knowing that kindness is a rare gift, maybe he curls into himself, making himself small, invisible, because life has taught him that being unseen is safer than being hurt. But what if, this time, someone stops? What if, instead of walking past, you kneel down and reach out your hand asterisk? What if, instead of turning away, you choose to care? What if, instead of silence, you say, you are not alone anymore, asterisk? Because every small action, asterisk, a meal given, a shelter built, a moment of kindness asterisk, can create ripples that change lives. Not just for them, but for us. When we choose to save, we are also saving a part of ourselves. The part that believes in love, in kindness, in a world where no soul should suffer alone. So, ask yourself, will you be the reason a dog learns to trust again? Asterisk? Will you be the reason a frightened stray finds a home? Asterisk? Will you be the change? Asterisk? Because they are waiting, and you could be their miracle. If this story has touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, comment, and asterisk subscribe to Rescue Animal Tales. Every soul deserves love. Let us know in the comments how this story resonates with you. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Subscribe for more rescue stories, incredible transformations, and the enduring power of connection. Together, let's spread kindness,